something special. This week we've got doing top 10 personalities of 2019, and this is pretty much a crossover between Take 3 and Call to Action. But beside me, I've got Doug. Doug, how's it going?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm excited. All these wonderful people here are very wonderful. Wait, what? Why am I getting the what? Why am I getting the middle finger? I'm the nice guy here. I'm the nice guy here. No, but I'm excited, Malcolm. This should be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what everybody's got and where we end up.
And next along there, we've got Danielle. Danielle, how's it going?
Hi, y'all. Y'all know me. It's your girl, Danny Joy, with Call to Action over here on the Take 3 channel. We're excited. We're excited to talk about 2019 personalities tonight. So,
and down underneath, we've got Kelsey. Kelsey, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk because if anything I love about Schmoedown, it's the personality. So to get to voice my opinions about that, I'm excited.
And next along there, first time on Take 3, we've got Dylan. Dylan, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Super stoked to be here. This is my first Take 3 outing, so this will be interesting. I normally I would throw some shade or something here, but we're on enemy turf right now, so we'll just
tread carefully.
we're all good people here.
And last but not least, we've got Alex. Alex, how's it going?
Guy's gonna be number 1. I just want to make that very clear. Okay, so we can talk about all these other competitors. I'm gonna throw this out there right off the gate. I'm Mac Daddy, obviously. Everyone, y'all know me because I love you guys. However, Guy's gonna be number 1 walking away from this. Thanks, babe. I got my claw ready to
Got my claw. Woo woo. Cheers,
So Chris.
crossover.
So fresh. So claw.
But yeah,
I got my Gatorade.
But yeah, how this is going to work, we go to, just like the past two you've probably watched, is go around and each person's going to give their 10, 9, and 8. Then they're going to go give their 7 through to 4. Then they're going to go one apiece from there. If someone's got something up higher, so say I bring up Guy at 10, and someone's got them really
Everyone
high
else is going
they go to yell out challenge, and then we won't talk about it till that stage. But Doug, I'm going to throw it to you first. What is your 10, 9, and 8?
All right, so my 10 is Mr. Ken Knapsack. My 9 is Jen Sturger. And my 8, that's a challenge. Cool. And my 8 is Mark Ellis.
oh,
Cool. No challenges there. I get to talk about Ken and Mark, 2 of my favorite people, a part of the Schmoedown. Ken Knapsack, his personality is so good. I don't think people give him enough credit for how good his personality is. Not just on the desk, but when he's on the mic, how he handles himself, it's incredible. His comedic tone and his comedic timing is impeccable. I still remember what was it? It was one of the post-match interviews where he's eating a sandwich. If you didn't laugh at that, I don't know what's wrong with you. But no, Ken Knapsack he's just comedic gold wherever he is, and I can't wait to see what he does this year as a competitor. But personality-wise, he's definitely got to be somebody on the top 10.
naps for Ken.
All right, and Mark Ellis. Come on, it's baby carrots. He is literally probably the funniest person on the Schmoedown. And just some of the stuff that you hear behind the scenes is some of my funniest stuff. Roxy's story about vaping, and then the quivering dad lip. Being scared of the quivering dad lip. I'd be scared of his quivering dad lip too. But more so on the desk personality, like he is kind of the person that you've come to know to be on the desk for pretty much every match. He's kind of become, whether you think it or not, the face of the Schmoedown. It's the person that you see right there announcing every week, week in, week out. So I think he deserves recognition. He's somebody that's just like, he's there and he's a force, and he's same aspect as Ken. His comedic timing and his comedy alone is what puts him on this list. The comebacks that he has, him and the Warfather this year is probably my favorite banter back and forth. Warfather. Anybody that gets that loves that match. I love that match. It was just his banter back and forth with Ken, his banter back and forth with the people on the desk, is it shows that he's so interchangeable that he can get along with pretty much anybody and match their timing, which is what makes him great.
Yeah, and because I didn't challenge, I had Mark Ellis at 10, so
Okay.
it was the same section. So, but yeah, like I had him at 10 because I always enjoy his commentary. If this was any other year, he would have been a lot higher. And there's a Nico sub there.
Are we going around in a circle or how?
Yeah, it'll go.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go in order of the way I introduce people.
Okay, so right now, are we all talking about Knapsack?
No, now it's going to go over to my 10, 9, and 8, right?
9 and 8.
All right, so my number 10 is actually Jen Sturger. Love Jen Sturger, so that was why I didn't get a challenge that one right there. So Jen Sturger is my number 10. My number 9. I can go on?
Yeah,
you can go on. I was about to say, I've got Jen higher, so yeah.
My number 9 is John Roca.
And I have challenge for that.
Okay. So, and then my number 8 is actually going to be Shannon Barney.
Ooh,
Is there a challenge on that at all?
I've got her at 9, so
Awesome.
yeah.
So I'm super pumped to talk about Shannon then because I love Shannon. Shannon has been a freckle on the face of the Schmoedown this season, but boy, is that a big beauty mark that's posted on to the Magic season. She tacked on at the end. She came out with Mike in Florida, which was kind of a surprise because Mike's managers unfortunately couldn't be there at that time, so she got to walk out with him. She's been such a driving force in Mike's presence this year. Mike, it's hard to have in my opinion, I feel like it would be hard to be in a relationship with someone that's so dedicated to this game and so dedicated to this entire thing. So Shannon has been by his side this entire time, and to see her transition from just being almost like a sideline cheerleader into a manager of the league now for coming into next season is a huge thing. She's got a big personality. She's got a personality that's going to fit very well with the Schmoedown. She knows what she's doing behind the scenes and on screen. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that we should call that cussing rule the Barney rule, because Shannon Barney has, proven herself to be a big timer, and she's got a little bit of a potty mouth, and we got to clean it up for next season. And that's kind of why I love her so much. She's also a Texas girl. I don't know if I said that before, but she's from Texas. Another reason why I love her very much. And that's why she's on my list. I think that she's had a great personality, even though she's only been on the Schmoedown for this amount of time compared to everyone else that is on this list. But I do think that she deserves a place in a top 10 personality list, in my opinion.
Yeah, and which is why, like, I actually completely forgot about her. I actually changed my list last minute because when I got there, I was like, oh shit, she was good. But yeah, there's a lot more I can say about her, but I did not. But Danielle also covered it all as well. But we're going to move on to Kelsey.
All right. Well, my number 10 is Brandon the Hitman Hannah.
Ooh.
No challenge. All right. And then number 9 is Kevin Smets.
Mhm.
No challenge. Okay. And number 8 is KO, Mike the Killer Kalinowski.
Ooh,
That's a challenge.
that's a challenge. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I guess I'll talk about the Hitman. He has been a very interesting addition to the Inner Geekdom in all the best ways. He never breaks character. You can be in a normal conversation with him, and he's gonna go off on Chandru like nobody's business. And it's even when he's on our streams, like one of the best moments of all time, in my opinion, is when we have him and Chandru on our stream, and he forgets he's there. It's hilarious. So he's just been a really entertaining and very talented addition to the Schmoedown, and I'm excited to see what he brings next season, but he has definitely been awesome this season. All right, and then for number 9, Kevin Smets. I really enjoyed his character special. Also a little bit of my children too, because seeing them watch the Smasher on screen, how excited they get, just warms my heart. That's what got them really into the Schmoedown. They love his just like quiet intensity that he has. Not to mention he is extremely talented as well, so he's just enjoyable on camera, and I like when he is competing. And then then we challenge for number 8. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Dylan.
All right. Well, my numbers 10, 9, and 8, starting in order. Number 10, I got the Beast, William Bibbiani.
Challenge.
Are challenges okay? I'm a little unclear. Are challenges supposed to mean like they're you higher on the rank?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, all right.
Similar bracket, right? Number 9, Mara Knopik. And number 8, this low. Ben the Boss Bateman, guys. I know.
Challenge.
Throw it out there.
Wow, that is coming right out of the oven because that's a hot fucking take.
I'm laughing right now. I'm panic laughing.
I'll make a whole episode on it on our own channel, but I guess all I've got for the rest of the number 9 from Mara. Mara has been absolutely stellar since coming in this season. She came in halfway through, made a great re-entrance back into the league. I think she swept us all away when she first came in. But seeing her just be excessively quirky at all times and nailing it, like that has to be so genuinely her, because there's no way that she'd have to be an excellent actress to sit there and be able to pull that performance off. Like when you're finding her in closets at the bottom of things and she's stalking competitors and just following Emma Fyfe and stuff around like that, all of this is just cracking me up. There's not many times she's not on screen, and I'm usually not laughing because she's nailing just that obscenely quirky, like lovable thing about her. So yeah, Mara. Oh gosh, I could probably put her higher, but this is a heavy list. Hence the challenges on the Bateman thing.
So Alex, on to you.
Okay, so hot wham bam. At 10, I had Smets. I had Kevin Smets. I mean, what more can you say about him? I think we already kind of touched base on him already. He's fantastic. He's wonderful. And this is his rookie season, and he knocked it out of the park. Rookie 6-1, which is amazing. Arguably player of the year right there. He's definitely in contention. It's the only thing about it is when it comes to this conversation, it is his rookie season. So does he necessarily deserve to be on the ranking so quickly? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I thought someone spoke. Next would have to be number 9 with Bibbs.
Yeah.
So we're both on the Bibbs train.
And 8 would have to be one of my personal favorites, Stacey Howard.
Ooh.
Now, I say it because not only is she one of the first really great female heels, obviously, but also she was in it to win it right off the gate. I mean, watching a lot of her older matches with Lucas recently, I was like, holy shit, she's actually great. I was reminded how good she was. And then I would see all the interaction on social media being like, she doesn't have a fan group, which kind of pisses me off from what I saw. Miss Moves did. But yeah, she's pretty fantastic. She is so great. She always is considered the undercard, and regardless of her record, she always pulls through really well. She had so many solid upsets, and she has actually a pretty solid record. On top of that, really consistently pretty good accuracy ratings. And I think, a lot of people don't really think of her when it comes to really great competitors, but her costumes are amazing. Her entrances, her promos are so fucking on point. I would definitely put her up there with the rest of them. And no one talks about her enough as a competitor, and
It's fair.
boggles the noggin.
So on to mine. My number 10 is Mark Ellis, which we've already talked about. My 9 is Shannon Barney, which I've already talked about. My 8 is Danielle Radford.
I like that. I like that. That's a surprise.
That's a great choice. I almost
she essentially came out of nowhere at the start of the season on commentary. Well, like she's never competed, but I mean, she's been such a presence on the desk. Like she's been born to commentate and born to just throw in some good feedback into there, and just every time she's been on desk, whether it's been with Mark Ellis or whoever else she's been put on there with, her commentary is just really great. I hope to see more of her this coming season, whether it's competing or otherwise. But yeah,
Hashtag more Danielle.
Hashtag more.
yeah.
More Danielle.
Hashtag more
Both,
Danielle.
both of them.
I back both that statement.
All right.
But Doug, we go on to your 7 to
Cool.
4.
So this is where you guys get to rip me apart, I guess, a little bit from a picks. My number 7 is Josh McCouga. If you don't have him on your list, I don't know why you don't have him on your list. Roka gets a lot of credit for being the first character. The first personality that you loved in the Schmoedown was the Wild Man. Let's be honest. Even when he did the belt thing, people were like, oh my God, he did that with the belt. I still back it. He has been successfully the only one to make Andrew Guy break kayfabe and show a little bit of niceness. This guy is literally, when it comes to wanting to have a good time, he is that personified. So a lot of my picks are personality picks, what they bring to the stage, and McCouga does that in whole. Just makes you put a smile on your face. So, anyone want to say anything? Anybody want to say anything? All right, cool.
Great. Yes.
Yeah.
Everything's accurate.
Cool.
I can't argue it because I feel like he's on so rarely nowadays.
It's
This season, I think this season
I get
was
it.
kind of like
He's like Whitwer. He's a working actor and he's doing well at it, and that's amazing. That's good for him. He just hasn't been on, and I feel like he's on once in a blue moon. So when he is on, it's an absolute treat. But that being said, no one takes him seriously.
Yeah, if this was at all time, he would have been on my list. But for this season, he even though he's
even last season, he was barely on. He had maybe 2 matches.
Yeah, it's about 2 to 3 appearances.
Maybe?
Yeah,
If we're lucky.
Right.
so. Personality. Whenever he's on screen, he takes over. So that was my only thing. My number 6 is a one Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Anybody got him on? No.
We're kinda
he's
mad
in
at him at the
he's in the same area for me.
Same group. Yeah. Same
So
group.
we can talk about him now. So
Okay, cool. Robert Meyer Burnett kind of like is this kind of chaos that has been unleashed onto the Schmoedown. I remember watching his first kind of like first couple matches. He was kind of this character, but like Schnepp kind of honed him in a little bit. We get an uncaged Robert Meyer Burnett this season, and we get the draft out of it. I'm not saying he created the draft, guys. I'm not saying he created the nuke, really. I know Christian had the storyline, but who's to say it's not that because of how chaotic he was, how much of a good character he was, that's the reason we got it. Think of like Anarchy. How can we step that up a little bit more? And with Anarchy comes chaos behind it. So Robert Meyer Burnett has been like this kind of perfect storm, if you will, of character.
nice.
It's very true.
Good.
Yeah.
yeah,
I agree. Absolutely. 150 million %.
yeah. I mean,
So, I don't know. Something about it really makes me not want to put him on the list. I don't know. Something about it.
Something about Robert Meyer Burnett.
Yeah.
Can't
Actually,
quite put my finger on it, but
Exactly. Like I'm excited. Every time he comes on screen, I'm excited. But I mean, like, do I really want him on put him on the same level as Knapsack or Roka, for example? I don't know.
All right. Anybody else had him that have to talk to him?
I love the addition.
Okay.
Though.
I had Robert Meyer actually kind of higher on But yeah, I think you kind of nail it a lot. I think he does a lot. He's done for most of the season. He's been on the right side of things, and he's been a great. My biggest thing with him is contrasting with him with like his interactions with the family. So while like his cutscenes, easily my favorite pre-match cutscene, or not really cutscene, the pre-match promo was the family's introduction one, where it's just him and Guy going like bantering back and forth before they go play Ben and Dagnino. And that he's like immaculate. That's my favorite one, hands down. And he's great gasoline for the fire that's like the kayfabe and that stuff. But the problem is that he's lit the wrong fire in the wrong place.
You hit the nail on the head right there a little bit.
No, RMB has been a wonderful character to watch inside of the Schmoedown because he really has brought chaos, just exactly like you said. He brought that chaos to the league that made this past season, really exciting and really fun to hate someone because it felt like there really wasn't anyone that you can directly hate. And regardless or not, whether you're part of the Action Army or not, RMB was a character that you could easily hate on either side of the fence to it. Now, this next season coming in, he's just got most of the hate because of what he did at Spectacular. So
also we love him so much. He's amazing. We love him. I talked to him after the show and he's like, he was so nervous about it. And he's like, you guys at C2A are great. So I have nothing but respect for the guy. And he's like, yeah, I was told to really bait you, but I don't know what I was supposed to do.
He should be.
And I'm like, well, it worked.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more I can say about him. Like, I do Emmett 7, but he's one of those ones that every time he's on screen, he is entertaining. Just really hits him just yelling nonsense at the camera all the time, or even the cutscenes where he's talking about new to Roxy and just also that it was just fun. Doug, what did you 5?
My 5 is a rookie in the league this year, Mr. Brandon Myers. I think this kid has been something that the league has been missing. We've had enough heels. He's
Those
been
are
a
fighting
face.
words.
He's had. All right,
Okay, we're gonna finish it down, Castle.
let me talk. Hold on, it's my.
Malcolm, just take them off right now.
This is take 3, not C2A. This is take 3, not
There's more
C2A.
of us in the review right now.
No, but he is literally anytime he's on screen, he just, I don't know, he makes me smile. He's a really good guy. On screen, off screen. I know that sometimes that's not really a personality, but his personality affects how it is. And with him on Shazam, I think they are just the perfect kind of like face team. A face team that you don't want to boo against. Like in wrestling, sometimes you hate the face team. You actually root for these guys because they're really good, and they don't mean anything towards anybody, and they try to make sure that they, I think he's probably one of the better faces in the league. And
you know what? I absolutely agree. He is one of the better faces in the league for sure. However, as a single player, he's kind of forgettable.
Whoa. Semifinals. Checkmark semifinals.
I stand by it. He is great at the desk. He is wonderful. He is clearly a talented. He's a future belt holder, guaranteed. However, how memorable is his promos? How memorable do people think? You know what? This is my big takeaway was how awesome in that promo alone. I want to cheer for that guy a little bit more. Like outside of being with Shazam.
His single promos, he's always with Bateman or with Bibbs. So
when he went up against David Del Rio, when he went up against the other dude, even when he did the free for all, he was just like, "Hey, I'm just glad to be here, guys." And I love that. That's him. Every time I see him on the OA, I'm ecstatic. But he's just a great guy.
Yeah. So what's your downfall? He got no edge.
He's not particularly memorable. His character isn't particularly memorable outside of that.
I don't know. You remember his matches pretty well though, right?
That's irrelevant. We're talking about personality.
No, it's not.
Oh my god! If we're talking about his like snapbacks or something at the commentators or something, that'd be a whole other situation. If he jumped on the fucking table and was like, "Listen, you're a bitch,"
I think how most people feel about personalities is a different thing, because I'm kind of on Doug's side with putting Brendan Meyer a little higher on there, because he is truly a face, and the league is faces and heels and stuff like that. So to see someone come in here and just genuinely, wholeheartedly and continuously be a face is a lot of fun and excitement to see, regardless of if it's just who he is as a person or not. There's a few people on my list who are just who they are as people, that come off as their characters as well. So I think putting Brendan Meyer a little higher on this list is totally fine, even if he is just a
Do you think he needs to be above Smets?
It's a personal list. It's a personal
It's a personal list.
Personal taste.
Okay, you're right. Absolutely.
Nobody's surprised the heel side of this podcast is the one that's most worked up about Brendan Meyer being.
Absolutely. I keep like the whole. It's the big one. Okay.
Anyway, Doug, what's your 4?
All right, my 4 is a challenge from earlier, and that is a one Mr. Bibiani. Bibbs has been kind of this. He's gone through a transformation from being just the regular growl to actually showing kind of who he is. In the same kind of vein as Brandon Meyer, he has this face thing going for him now, and he's kind of got he's iconic for standing. He's made that iconic. I'm still standing as a shirt. Go buy it. But no, like, whenever you see a promo from Bibbs, the promos are incredible. My favorite promo was the one that him and the kid did when they did the commentary. It was great, and that came from his mind. He's so impactful personality wise to the game, because you know who he is, what he can do, and you know that you're always going to get kind of this smile in your face when you see him before and after, because even if he loses, he still tries to put a smile on your face. So that's why I think Bibbs is one of probably the greatest heel face turns ever. So yeah.
Alex, Dylan, you also had him on your list. You can talk about him now.
Yeah, kind of lead in and saying, I mean, I agree a lot with you. I think that Bibbs really brings in this very genuine characteristic to him. Not only is that as a face trait, but seeing how he uses that even in his own like matches. Anytime he's playing against heels, and it's been a lot, he does really good of just being genuinely like, oh, okay, well, yeah, you can do heel talk, but I'm also Bibiani, one of the greatest of all time. So hearing him do stuff,
you can try.
Right?
It's gonna be cute.
Exactly.
The Looney Bin match, though, guys. The Looney Bin match when they were just trying to make friends.
Yeah.
I just really want Video Drew and Bibbs to like try to hug and just to see what happens. I feel like she would like spawn out like a handful of tentacles.
Yeah.
And like somehow like encompass him, and he would be like, cool.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get for some reason. This is such a weird thing to think, but yeah, that's the feeling I get with Bibbs. You get this bunnies feeling. You're like, oh, like, and when he wins, like, you're really proud that he's winning, even if you're not like full on with the faces or anything like that. But when he loses, it's like it is hard else, because he's such a talented player, and that translates well into his personality. Like, he cares about this, and I always say that passion really brings character personalities way up a list for me. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else with anything to say about Bibbs?
I'll just say that when he was more of a heel competitor, I always liked him as like Booby Trivia competitor, but I wasn't big on his character. Since his face turn, I love Bibbs. I feel like he's finally like into his own. He's getting to be his genuine character self, and he's engaging to watch. And I always want good things from him because I love Bibbs.
He's one of those characters that really prove that if you find one of those not characters. He's one of those competitors that really shows that if you once you get in the zone of creating a character that works for you and works for you and your strengths and everything, that really can translate well into your performance actually when you're answering questions.
Absolutely.
Because it's almost like overnight how it changed his approach to it. And I'm sure there's a million and one things I also contributed. But, from sitting on this side, I felt like almost like a 180 where it almost felt like a weight was lifted off his shoulders where he didn't have to focus on the entrance or anything now so much. Now he does a little bit more, but he feels a lot more comfortable, essentially, at either ends.
Yeah. Danny, what is your 7 through to 4?
So my number 7, so my number 7 is Kaiser. John Kaiser.
Challenge.
And before we get into that challenge, I would just like to say something really quickly. As soon as Kelsey said that Smets was her number 9, I instantly looked at my list because I could have sworn on my whole heart that I had Kevin Smets on my list, because why wouldn't I? And surprisingly, the list that I sent into Malcolm did not. And I'm going to go ahead and blame it on changing this list up a bunch of times. So I'm like, it just in this place really quickly, I just want to talk about Kevin Smets. I think Kevin is one of the best personalities that we've seen in this league so far, especially coming out of his rookie year, especially understanding that he could have come out as Mach Schmo Man. That would have been super fun with all of that stuff.
Might come in a what if. Just saying, it might come in a what if.
A what if.
That would be so great.
I can't wait for that to happen, because I really hope it does. Because if you have not seen Kevin's impersonation of that, you need to watch it. It's one of the best things in the world. So I'm very shocked to see that I do not have Kevin Smets on my list, and I'm gonna blame it on myself. My bad. But I did have Kaiser at 7. That's been a challenge. My number 6 is Clark Wolf.
Ooh.
Anyone got a challenge? I don't got a challenge from Dylan.
Now she's in this block for me, so
No. Same.
Yeah.
No.
I'll talk with her.
So, Clark Wolf is one of my favorite personalities inside of the Schmoedown, because she's been in it for a long time, and she's been one of my favorite people inside of this league for a very long time. And one of the reasons why I don't have Stacey Howard on this list is because I was trying to think of different personalities that I've been attracted to and have been a part of for as long as I've been watching Schmoedown, and I had to put Clark Wolf a little bit higher on that. And because just what she's done in this league has really kind of changed the game just a little bit. You can really tell that she's passionate about everything that she does when she's on the desk. Anytime that she's playing in a match, she's really into it. She gets really hung up on herself, sometimes just not necessarily in the worst way, but she cares. It's just showing that she cares about what she's doing, and she does kind of take it seriously. And then being able to see her transition from competitor to be on the desk and see her personality on the desk has been so much fun to watch, because we get to see her in a little bit more lax atmosphere, a little bit more laid back. And that's been so much fun to watch, because I love her personality. If you've never listened to her podcast, Sending in the Wolf, please do, because it's super great. So this is my person whose personal personality and not Schmoedown personality plays a big part into why they're on my list, because I think Clark Wolf is just an amazing person, and I think that she's done amazing things for this league in general, and I cannot wait to see her more on the desk this next coming season. Hopefully maybe somewhere farther down the line we get a weird Char Wolf surprise anywhere, or even just a Clark Wolf surprise, maybe even a Clark Wolf Mark Riley surprise. We'll see how that goes. So Clark Wolf is my number 6, and my number 5 is Ben Bateman.
Yeah, okay.
I don't have a challenge.
He's actually my number 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna be all right with that. Ben Bateman being at my number 5, being that high should be the surprise. That really what it is. I'm surprised that no one challenged that, but that's totally fine. Ben has stayed consistent with his character for a very, very long time. You know the boss in the same way that he has always been the boss. When he was on Team Action, he barely changed when he went over to the
Horseman.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I was going to say Founding Fathers, but it's the 5 Horsemen. I'm so sorry. But whenever he went over to the Horseman side, he's still the boss character, just in a different sort of way. So he is one of, so from now on, my 5 and up, just a spoiler alert, are all people who take their personalities inside the Schmoedown a little bit more seriously. So Ben Bateman is someone who completely does, because most of us here have interacted with Ben personally and have watched different things that Ben Bateman, the person, does outside of the Schmoedown. So we know who he is and what he does. But when we see the boss inside of the Schmoedown, it's a completely different personality. And that's something that Ben has been able to keep up with this entire season, this entire run that he's been inside of the Schmoedown. So he has to be on lists of best personalities, of just best overall inside of the Schmoedown, y'all. Like, no one can deny who he is as a player and who he is in his teams and everything that he's done for the league so far. No one can deny that at all. So Ben Bateman is absolutely my number 5, and the boss Bateman is number 5 on my list.
Yeah, before you go on to 4, I should have done this for Clark, but I forgot. But Alex and Dylan, you guys also had Clark on your lists. You guys can talk about her as well.
Yeah. I'll get into Ben first. I'll back on Clark on the round through because I think I have her up higher on that one. So with Ben, I have him at 8 for me because this personality list is just very packed. But I completely agree with a lot of things that Danny said on Ben. Just seeing him even going into matches and just having, again, that boss attitude, whether it's face or whether it's heel, you'll still see it. I think he really shined through in his match with Oyama and Spectacular. When you just see him just being so smug, like once he got the lead and he's just sitting there and he watches Oyama spin, and you can tell every little thing. He didn't say much because that would have been too heelish, but his face was giving away all of the facial cues of a heel that he could have given. That's what I love. It was just oozing with cocky arrogance.
It's just his face.
Yeah.
Heel face. Okay.
That's fake. But yeah, just small stuff he does, little tiny comments he'll throw in there is just like, oh yeah. And so much of it just shines through so well. Yeah. What's not to love about the boss? What's not to love about Ben Bateman? That says it all. Alex, carry on.
Bateman's my number 5. So everything. Every time I see him, I just want to turn Bateman's heelness up to an 11 just because that's who I am. I love I'm part of the Action Army. I love my boys. I love my heels. I love them all. So there's nothing more to be said about him. He's fantastic in every way.
Fair.
Yeah. I did have him at 6. He one thing that is so great is you can hang out with him like we did at the socially. He's one person. It is like a switch when the boss comes on, and you can just see his the way he stands changes, his facial expression changes, annoyance with everything.
He's like Superman.
Yeah, he doesn't
sunglasses and kind of evil.
He puts on sunglasses. You're like, wait, where did Ben Bateman go? Where's the boss guy? So he is very enjoyable on just ever since Team Action, going on to Who's the Boss in the 5 Horsemen. I'm excited to see what happens with him and his character next season. And Ben the Boss is the best.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I feel bad for not having been on my list. He came in at number. He came in just at 11 for me. But I love Ben, and I just didn't quite gravitate to his personality this year, but he got close. As I said, he was about my 11. But yeah,
Ben's a good guy. Ben's a good guy.
Ben's a good guy.
Ben's a good guy. I just with my list, it was people who I think really impacted the league a lot, personality wise, not competitor wise. A lot of my personalities were personality wise that can affected the league.
So you chose Brendan?
Absolutely. Without Brendan's personality, we wouldn't have had
hold on. Impact on the league.
Hold on. I didn't say
over a season.
Over a season, absolutely. Because if we didn't have Brendan the way that he was, we wouldn't have Shazam. If we didn't have Brendan being
Stand
the
by
person,
what I said.
you can stand by what you said, but this is take 3. We're cinnamon rolls here. So no, but absolutely, Ben is incredible. He's an incredible competitor, and I think his personality is amazing. Seeing him on action industry stuff, the person that he really is, and how it switches, it's great. Like I said, for me, it was a lot of people that impacted the league personality wise. For me, Ben was right there. Same thing with Smets. But you'll notice that I have somebody else on the thing later. So.
But anyway, Danielle, what's your 4?
My number 4 is Grace Hancock. And that just is also that's just also personalities inside of the league. Grace has been consistent with her heel character since the beginning, since she's come inside of the league and has helped with corruption. And then spoiler alert for Spectacular 4, if for some reason at this time you have not seen it, Grace coming out with Emma and then doing that wonderful fucking act with Shannon and Emma and Grace was insane. It was so much fun to watch. It just also might be because I have the hugest girl crush on Grace Hancock, but she's been a wonderful part of the league, and I love everything that she's been doing. Her character has been consistent, so and it. She's done well. I feel like a lot of people will challenge me on this, just to talk against it, just because maybe she hasn't been as active with what she's doing. But I do think that when it comes to personalities inside of the Schmoedown, I think her personality is one of the personalities that I've gravitated towards the most, because I love to see her completely and always be in her heel character and has never faltered in any sort of way. Also listen to her podcast, Grace and Alicia Have Lives. Listen to that as well. And it's really great to see that, and to know, just behind the scenes stuff with her and Ken has been really fun to see them work together in different sorts of ways, and it's been great. And Grace Hancock is one of my favorite personalities inside of the Schmoedown, and that is why she is so super high on my list, because I got a girl crush.
Yeah. Kelsey, what is your 7 to 4?
All right, my number 7 is John Roca.
Challenge.
Yep.
Oh wow, challenge.
My number 6 was Bateman. And then my number 5 is Dagnino.
Challenge.
There it is.
Yeah, challenge.
All right, and my number 4 is Kaiser.
Challenge.
Okay, well, I'm not talking this round, so
Great having you on the show there, Kelsey. Make sure.
Hey.
Dylan, what is your 7 to 4?
Yeah. We'll touch base again at number 7 with Clark Wolf for me. Yeah, we're going to recreate that conversation again real quick. Clark Wolf, oh my God. Firstly, let me say, if you're looking for an epitome of what you love in a face, Clark Wolf is that for me. People can say Brendan Meyer, people can say Bibbs, and I think they are great. Don't get me wrong. Clark Wolf crushes it. She goes in here. I've never wanted to see a face so badly turned heel, just because I want to see how much I would love her as a heel. Because I love her so much as a face. I'm like, it's unfathomable to think what she could do on the dark side. But her coming in is absolutely great. It's one of those characters that she only gets edged out from maybe like the top 3 when it comes to passion. I mean, this is the person who said, we are the league. And not only just passionate for her and for Rachel and for the Shirewolves, and to be able to say, girl power, F off if you don't believe this. This is what we're here. Get used to it. We're champions. Like, there's so much to love about Clark Wolf in that way. She comes out. She doesn't abide by any of the rules of kayfabe. When she played against Ben when he was the heel, she made him shake her hand. And, like, yeah, she diffuses the situation. She's great. She's always been a great competitor. Super energetic, super awesome. And seeing her on the desk has just been stellar. I'm still really sad she's retired because I want to see more from her, but just seeing her on the desk and seeing some of that genuine banter where it's just laid back, fun, she's just very charming. It's really hard not to like Clark Wolf. So, yeah, it easily has to be my number 7. Alex, did you want to talk on Clark Wolf?
He's right up there for me. She is actually she's just a few steps higher for me personally. So I figure we're going to talk about her in a little more depth with me, but it's fucking Clark Wolf. She was like the first like female competitor. Her and Howard that I really, really enjoyed loving. But I was like, redheads unite. I'm not a redhead, but I wanted to be one.
Yeah, girl.
But she's wonderful. I mean, she not only is she the epitome of a great face, also, but she's one of the creators of some of the best moments in Schmoedown history. I mean, we are the league. I mean, need I say more? I also low-key hoped for a Shirewolves management team, so that was my dream. Schmoedown dreams right there, but but definitely hope to see her more in the future. I love her. I mean, nothing more to say.
Fair. Going into my number 6, soon to be challenged, I have Kaiser.
Challenge.
Yeah. Number 5, I have Robert Meyer Burnett. We've already kind of touched on him quite a bit on this one, but I'll just kind of go into saying, listen, he's a heel, and I hate him, so he's doing his job right at the end of the day. That's what I'll say on Robert Meyer Burnett right now. And number 4, well, I mean, we speak on passion, and I'm right here back on this. We have Mike the Killer Kalinowski.
Challenge.
There it is. Yep. I figured that was coming, so I will wait.
Alex, what is your 7?
We've already talked about a handful of these already. My number 7 was Knapsack. I mean, love him. He's wonderful. 6 for me was actually KO the Killer Kalinowski.
Challenge.
Exactly. I know, that's why I'm gonna breeze through them. 5 was Bateman, and 4 was Clark. So we've already talked about everyone.
Nice.
So there you go.
Ooh, these top 3 are gonna get spicy, y'all.
This is
Super spicy. Super spicy.
It's gonna get like hot one spicy.
Yeah.
Straight up extract.
But yeah, my number 7 is Robin Meyer Burnett. We've already talked about him. My number 6 is Emma Fyfe.
Oh yeah.
I mean, her role as commissioner this season was just some of the entertaining sort of moments that, like her getting an order of Sam for not doing his job, just coming in and just doing and even spectacularly when she went when she turned to the dark side and got Grace, which is something I didn't put on yet,
guys.
But it's going to be interesting to see where Emma goes this season, and she's just shown why she's always sort of been entertaining, whether it's been commissioning or managing or whatever. But yeah, my number 5 is Jen Sturger. But yeah, I don't think anyone's got her higher. I think she was lower on.
Are we talking about Jessica Sturger?
Yeah, Jessica. You mean Jessica? I don't know who you're talking about there.
But yeah, as I like to call her, Jen. Like her with her commentary has just been really entertaining. She's shown that in her limited role on the Schmoedown, she has a lot of entertainment and can sort of hold her own when it comes to interacting with the crazy people like Guy or the Wildberries or Robert Meyer Burnett or just any of those. Just the way she deals with them is just amazing, and she's just inspirational. Like when she does her post match.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I had her at 9. Jen Sturger is incredible when it comes to an interview. She knows how to lead her people. She knows how to give the right comedic timing. Her and Jay together is comedic gold. Or her with the Wildberries is comedic gold. Those two are Wildberries. But no, you can't have a personality list and not have Jen on here, because she literally is a personality of the league and not even a competitor. She just really enjoys the league and really enjoys giving everybody good content. So I think she's kind of shown what, if anybody were to fill her shoes at one point, what you have to do. Like, you can't be just, oh, how do you feel about this? You have to actually interact. You have to be comedic. You have to be able to go above what people expect of you. And she does that every time. Every time.
Yep, her bit whenever Warfather came out and they did that little interview and she grabbed Mjolnir and she just fell right down.
Was great.
Gold.
Yeah.
Gold. Jen Sturger is not only just a wonderful positive voice inside of the Schmoedown, watching her interact with people, never letting anybody give her shit. She knows how to handle an interview. She knows never to give up that mic and all of that, like anything that she needs to do. She's such a huge inspiration inside of the Schmoedown and outside. And that is why Jennifer Sturger had to make my list, because I admire this person as a human being and everything that she's been through and everything that she's done throughout her life. So Jen Sturger is a wonderful person inside of the Schmoedown and out, and that is absolutely why that she made my list completely and fully. And for her to be on 50% of our list altogether, and she's not even a competitor, she's just what some people would call an interviewer. Like if you wanted to put it down to its very basic meager means, it shows a lot because she holds her own in this entire thing, and she is a true personality inside of this league. And there's no one like Jen Sturger in this league.
On a side note, I really wanted to put Warfather on my list, but just because of one appearance, it wasn't enough.
Honorable mention though, Warfather next season. Get your games up, son, because I want to see more War Papa.
But anyway, my number 4 is probably going to be a little bit of a controversial pick, but I've got Roxy Stryer.
Why is that controversial?
It's not. It's good.
I was just saying,
Why is that considered controversial?
Well, the reason I said that is some people might find it controversial because of how her personality has been this season.
There's nothing controversial about anything she's done. She's a passionate manager that's standing up for her competitors, and that's ballsy and awesome as fuck. We love her.
Yeah,
We here at Take 3 do not view all the opinions that Malcolm view. I am going to be hiding behind the screen from now on.
Go, Malcolm, go.
But yeah, I mean, I think Roxy is great with what she's done this season. And while the whole slap incident may have rubbed some people up the wrong way and all that, her and Ben agreed to do that. So it's not like it was happened out of the blue and she just went up to bed and slept for no reason. So it shows how far she is willing to go to get her personality on screen. And the more we see of Roxy this season is going to be great. She's just good as she continues to improve her character even more. But Doug, we go on to you for your number 3.
All right, my number 3 is the manager of the Finstock Exchange, Mr. Dagnino.
For what? For which one?
For my number 3.
Okay.
I think Tom is incredible as a character. He comes off as this buffoon, and you don't know if he actually is or not. So I guess it's a box of mystery. Bobby Gucci. No, I just mean I think Dagnino has added something that a lot of people don't think. They underestimate him in every aspect of the league, and look what he did this year at the end of the league. He took his team, and people say what they want. Him on the mic taking pressure off his team is exactly the kind of personality that needs to be. And I think that helps out a lot with his competitors. And I think it helps a lot of the managers understand what maybe some of their duties might be next year. You're as a manager supposed to take your heat off your players. Let them be able to concentrate on the game. Let them be able to do what they have to do. Not to say take away personality from them, because obviously everyone on the Horsemen have a very distinct personality, if you will, all the way from Dan Merle to Riley. But when I summed it all up, I put the Horsemen together as a Tom Dagnino kind of thing. He's the one that kind of like thrives them right now. He's the one that thrived them when he entered the Horsemen. His personality did that. People always the cutscene where he gives the camera to the guy is one of my favorite cutscenes that he's ever been. Hey, this looks expensive. Put this in your pocket. It's great. That's Dagnino. If you don't think he's a good personality, I don't know what you're looking for, because he's comedy. He can be just this kind of force that you just don't seem to really get at all.
Tom was also my number 3. But there's just so much more that we could talk about, but he's just been so great. Well, this year he's felt a little bit different. It's like a little bit, but he's still great. Like, he still ends up in my top 3 for most people. Like, he's always going to be that big of a force. But Alex, I believe you also had him on your list too.
Yeah, I actually had him as number 2, so we're not far off from each other, Doug.
Yeah.
On that one, I mean, I really never really cared all too much about him initially until maybe season 5. Honestly. Yeah, I mean, like, I remember, like, he was in the characters. I when he was like part of the Lion's Den and everything, I was just like, I don't get it. I'm not laughing.
I
didn't laugh. I didn't like him, and I thought it was real. And I remember thinking, I don't understand. Is he like actually stupid? Like, literally, I didn't grow up watching wrestling. I didn't understand this. I didn't understand. He just seemed just stupid enough where I'm like, this could be real. Versus I remember watching Roka for the first time, and I was like, okay, I get it now. But with Dagnino, I didn't yet. So, but it wasn't until season 5 where I really started warming up to him and loving him much. But also when Lucas and I met him down in New York, Lucas like developed this like 10-minute like friendship with him, and I was just like, what the fuck? How are you just like friendships with everyone? And apparently he's super chill, super nice. It's all character, and he's wonderful. He's like great with everyone. He's constantly checking in with everyone, just being like, hey, how you doing? Got your drink? Good. Awesome. I'll see you over there pretty soon.
Also, when cameras are on, he does not break kayfabe. Like,
exactly. And it's
the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, he'll go and Collider Live.
Consistently well done. Like, that story when when Who's the Boss lost against the family. I mean,
That was good. That was gold.
Yeah.
That was gold.
it was great. It was arguably one of my favorite parts of the entire match. Recording.
The fire that burns the fireplace is the same fire that burns your house down. Did any of you others have anything to say on Tom?
Yeah, I did have him at 5. He is probably one of the most quotable people in the Schmoedown as well. Like, things he has said, I want a t-shirt, like, the devil wears Prada, but God wears Gucci. Yeah. And winners don't remember losing and things like that. Like, he is just the nuggets of gold that come out of his mouth. I love him so much.
Yeah. No arguments.
Trial and error.
No, Tom Dagnino is a great personality. Just even meeting him outside of Schmoedown events, like whenever you go to like fan stuff, just him as a person, it's really funny to interact with. So he carries that throughout the entire time, anytime he's on camera interacting with fans. So it's a lot of fun to see that, and then just hearing things from other people behind the scenes on how he does help them out as a manager and different things like that is really cool. So Tom Dagnino on this list is definitely deserved to be on a personalities list. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. But Danielle, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is Mike Kalinowski.
Whew. Here we are.
More challenges, right? No.
Yeah.
All right. So again, consistent snaps for Mike. That's right. Consistency in character. Mike Kalinowski has been so wonderful to watch throughout this thing. I think that trying to find himself as a heel has been a really fun transition to watch while he's winning and while he's going through this whole progress as a competitor and a player. So to develop the personality that he's going into is really fun and exciting to see what he's going to do next season, because it's going to be a different type of redemption arc for him. It was a whole redemption arc for him this whole season. Going back and just kind of slightly being the underdog, like going against people and then completely winning. Like everyone here knows, like, I'm sorry if it's gonna hurt anyone's feelings, but like the Kalinowski versus Smets match, I think we all pretty much had Kevin winning that match. So to go, and then same thing with him against Rachel, I think we all really were on Rachel's side for it. So that's just going to his player and his playing and how well he's been doing inside of this league, but being able to keep up with that character when everyone has just kind of been I don't want to say rooting against him, but whenever he just wasn't on he's always been the underdog in the situation, and he's been able to keep that positive sort of mentality on screen with it and be the character that he is. So the Killer Kanowski is why we had Anarchy last season, whenever it was. I feel like it was this season. I don't know. These years have been going by like crazy, but it's been fun to watch that whole transition, and I think he's done his character really well. And to finally get himself a belt and then to lose the belt, it's gonna be fun and exciting to see his character come in the next season. I know someone else had him on their list.
Yeah, I think everyone except me had him on.
Yep.
Yeah, I had him on my list too.
Yeah.
Chelsea, you want to lead the line on that one?
Sure. All right. Ever since his heel turn, I have just absolutely loved Mike. I'm the one here that owns a corruption shirt because I freaking love Mike.
You know what
I get a lot of crap for it, but I own a corruption shirt. I just love his character. I love his online presence as well, because he is in there as the killer KO, just talking crap, making his awesome. Those videos are honestly a highlight for me of this year. His promo videos with the belts, taking showers with them, and it was so great. I love his character. I'm interested to see what happens next season. I loved his heel turn. I just feel like eventually there might be a face turn again, and I'm not sure how I feel about that because I love him as a heel, but we'll see because he's awesome.
I hope so. I love Mikey Face. Thank you for bringing all of that stuff up, because that is a very important reason why he is on my list. Those Facebook posts were amazing.
Yeah, so I had Mike on my list a little bit lower, and no disrespect, I had him literally at 4 for me. But yeah, Mike. Oh man, here's the crazy thing about Mike that gets me is that I really like him as a heel, but again, we are heel snobs. We are the snobbiest of heel podcast people here. So whenever he ends up against people who I dislike more as heels or as people, it was like great. But then it was every single Intergeekdom match that he was in, I found myself like rooting for Mike, and I didn't want to because I was like going in him against Smets. Smets is our boy. I'm going Smets. But low-key, I'm like, but I'm also cheering for Mike too. Like, why am I so conflicted? And even at the end of the year when he had the rematch with Smets, there's a thing where I'm like, every time he's in these matches, I'm still low-key cheering for him, even if I do want the other person to win a little bit more. And I think so much of that shines because of this mix of genuine passion and putting himself out there. And, oh, man, like, yeah, it's the best way I can describe it is how Kevin Smets' promo and Spectacular went. Kevin Smets went out there and he was just like, no, you know what? This isn't for you guys. This isn't for the fans. This is me doing me. I'm going to do this for me. It's no longer for you. And we all cheered him. Because it didn't land. We're like, yay, we're with you regardless. We don't care if you hate us right now. That's
Accurate.
He can make us hate him as much as we want to, but I really do love Mike as a personality. There's so much passion oozing out of every orifice of his body. And yeah, his promos have been fire. His game has been just excellent this season. There's a lot of love for Mike on this.
Yeah.
Anything to say about Mike, Alex?
Made Lucas a fan. I mean, Wait 1 second. Let me see if I can find it real quick. One hot minute.
1 hot minute. We're on the clock here. 1 hot minute. We're gonna see if this stays on or if it stays off. Meanwhile, Malcolm's here.
But yeah, he unfortunately he missed my top 10. And it's not because I don't appreciate him. His personality and all that. I think he does have a great personality. It just seemed to be the same all year, and it got boring. I mean, competitor wise, yeah, he's definitely top 10. I'm pretty sure he did make top 10 players for me, but like personality wise, he didn't seem to change it up much, which is not always a bad thing, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's.
He actually would rather pet our cats than be in your presence.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. He can't be on, however. He was kind of I know specifically for Lucas being an incoming fan, he wasn't aware of a lot of it. That was the match between him and Smets. It was the match that really converted him into being like, hey, okay, there's more to this. There's that, and oh my gosh, those promos. I mean, it's like it was like one of the, I don't want to say it's the first great story, but it was definitely one of the biggest stories we've ever had in Schmoedown. Mm-hmm. Everything was just amazing, and it was one of the real big, beautiful moments in Schmoedown history. I mean, like, he literally cried, and I cried with him. I was like, he's worked so hard, and he's about to play Rachel, and I'm gonna cry right now. I'm not gonna cry. I don't know why. Just thinking about people crying made me to cry. I'm like, oh god. But I don't understand why he's always considered the underdog. No, he could be up against Chandru or Hannah.
No, I'd vote for Mike at that point. Yeah. I'd vote for Mike at that point.
Really good competitors, but or Mark Kanopik or any of them, and everyone would be like, yeah, Mark Kanopik is gonna win. I know a lot of people would be like, yeah, he is definitely gonna lose, and I'm like, but why? And I don't understand what about him is considered the weakness. Is it the fact that he shows emotion? I feel like, to me, that's, if anything, that's his strength. That really makes him not so much. I don't feel like he's so much a heel, so much it's his personality to the nth degree, where it's much more of an exaggerated version of himself. Because to me, he seems like a more aggressively passionate version of himself rather than a heel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, he's not an asshole. He's not being like, fuck you guys or anything like that. Like some people that we love. But at the same time, he's just like, I'm here to work hard. I don't care what the fuck you guys think. I'm here to get this fucking belt. And I respect the shit out of that. So.
Yeah.
And he deserves it all. He deserves all the love. And he deserves more love.
But yeah, Kelsey, who's your number 3?
All right, my number 3 is Tom.
I want to see a body.
Want to see a dead body.
And I said yes to him, and I didn't get to see a dead body. So Tom, you owe me a dead body. But anyways,
dead body.
Okay.
But he is just. I have loved the Looney Bins involvement in the Schmoedown this season. They are just so great. His character is so, like, it's a simple character. He doesn't say much. He says weird things, but he stays in it so well. And it almost, like we've said earlier to other, where I think it actually helps his gameplay, because just that creepy, slow, preparing to talk kind of thing does give him a second to, like, double check his answer in his head, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's a good example of a really interesting, cool, totally different character to other competitors in the Schmoedown that also may help his gameplay as well. So I am excited to see what happens next season. I hope somebody drafts him and Video Drew, because I love their interactions together. But yeah, I really liked Tom this season for sure.
Any word on Tom before we can move on?
No, he's great. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens next year, because I don't think they're going to stay together. But check out that draft prediction on the channel at some point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my number 2 Speaking of you,
Right.
okay.
Finish number 3.
Oh.
Dylan, what's your number 3?
Okay.
My number 3, I've got the Outlaw, John Roca. Maybe just because we've been making peace with him recently, he's so high. No, had to say that. John doesn't tune into our channel. He might catch it on here. So, hey, John Roca. No, so John Roca has actually been pretty killer this season. I think he's found his groove. Like in these later seasons, as the show goes on, I think his character's only going to really get better in that he's going to be this like guru old man champion that it's this old dog. He's finally in the place he wants to be. He's always wanted to be this over the top Western character, and him being so late to the game and being such a veteran and being a champion and really having this comeback again with Founding Fathers. I think he's really found his stride and sitting here and being not necessarily a heel, not necessarily a face. He's kind of a tweener in a way, but he's just this old seasoned veteran person. He's very Clint Eastwood right now of Schmoedown. And honestly, I think he probably wouldn't love a better, analogy for that because he's right in that role. He's like, all right, young bloods, let's show it up. And I think before he's made comments like that, and I'm like, man, whatever. Like you say that a lot about action, but this has been years. And guys, now we're going into our 7th season. Roca, man, he's earned this Clint Eastwood status of his, and I think he owns it in a really strong way. So props to the dude. He's really brought it back. And hope you're watching, John. You got good words from the Call to Action podcast community continually this week.
Well, I have some good words to add on to that as well. So John Roca is actually my number 9 on my list. And the outlaw personality you know what, like when it really comes down to it, when you think about what a heel personality and what a face personality is supposed to do for you inside of the Schmoedown, when John Roca first came out as a heel, I just did not like him. And that's just kind of what it was. But understanding and knowing how the game works and how these personality works and getting to know these people a little bit better, the passion that John Roca puts into his character and inside of the Schmoedown is undeniable. You just can't deny any of that. So John Roca changed the Schmoedown game in a way that we can all appreciate because he was the first personality. The Outlaw was one of the very first heel personalities to come out, one of the very first big personalities to come out, and he's been a part of the game for so long. Dylan is absolutely right that you have to give him that Clint Eastwood status. Like, you have to give him that old cowboy inside of this game because that's who he is. He's the old cowboy in this game. Not old in a bad way. I'm so sorry. But just in a legend sort of way. John Roca is genuinely a legend inside of the game. There's not a single person who watches this that can deny it, no matter where you stand on the fence on how you feel about the outlaw personality. John Roca, the outlaw in the Schmoedown, is an absolute legend, and he deserves to be on a personality list, no matter how frequently he hasn't played or any of that stuff. But that flu game match is what I'm going to call it for Spectacular, was awesome. That was a great thing to come out and see. And I know some people contest against that being an entrance, but it was a big roar. Like it was expected and unexpected at the same time, but I really liked the way that the Schmoedown allowed all of that to happen and to be an event inside of that as well. So I completely agree that John Roca should be high on someone's list for that. So I'm glad that you have him at 3, Dylan.
Alex, you also have Roca at 3.
You're muted.
Alex, you're muted.
Alex, we can't hear you.
She loves it when she does this on our channel too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
I don't know what changed. I didn't do anything different. Anyway, okay, regardless. Yeah, but there's nothing more to say about him. He's wonderful. He's the competitor that made me understand what it was, whereas Wildberries and not so much Wildberries, I didn't really know about them initially, but Dagnino didn't. Dagnino didn't convert me to like it. It was Roca that converted me to like Schmoedown, honestly, where it just made Schmoedown click for me. It made me understand what it was. But he's amazing. He's also one of the first big, really well-known repeating champions as well. I mean, you can't deny everything he's done. He's done singles multiple times, team belt on multiple teams, multiple times, defending champion multiple times. Arguably the best competitor we've ever had.
But Roach great, and I kind of wish Abe was here because he did a picture of Rocha sitting in front of a fire in an old person's retirement home. That's a joke. I can't remember what the joke was in regards to, but it was just entertaining.
Kelsey,
Oh, got it.
Yeah, I had him at 7 because when I got into Schmoedown, I was like the first or second match, maybe third match I watched was Rocha winning the belt. So Rocha was like my introduction to Schmoedown. His character, his evilness, and also Wolf Steel. They were like what introduced me to Schmoedown. And then I still cheered for Rocha up until Team Action joined the game. And then their rivalry kind of brought me away from Rocha a little bit because I love the Team Action. But then his whole storylines over the seasons, like the reveal of the 5 horsemen, things like that was just brilliant. And then the face team that he has done, I didn't think I was gonna like it because I like heels, but he makes it work for him, and you just can't not say that he has made his own caliber of category, like not heel, not face, just Rocha, and it's been great to watch over the seasons.
Yeah. My number 3 is Tom Dagnino as well. We've already talked about him. Doug, who's your number 2?
Pretty quick 3, guys. Pretty quick 3. I have a feeling that this guy is going to get a challenge. I am going to go ahead and say that I've watched this guy, and I've loved to hate this guy. And then I've loved to love this guy when he was in a particular match. And that's the one Mr. Drew Guy.
Challenge.
Had a feeling. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one's probably going to reveal a lot of people's stumble.
Just a little bit.
Danielle, who's your number 2?
That's hilarious. My number 2 is Drew Grant. Video Drew is my
challenge.
Got it. All right, then let's move on.
Kelsey,
Right.
who's your
my
number
2 was also Video Drew, so
We got a challenge, I guess.
Nice.
we got a challenge.
It's in number 2.
Dylan, who's your number 2?
Yeah, my number 2 is actually going to offend about half of this group right here. I actually have Andrew Guy at number 2 for me.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
Yeah, I know. We're going to be living the festival
You
then.
gotta do it now.
Okay.
We're gonna wavelengths.
We'll get there. But
I'm happy yet pissed at the same time.
Right? Seriously.
Alex, you've already mentioned your number 2, but just remind us.
Yeah, well, number 3 was Rocha for me. 2 was Dagnino. And 1 is actually Eric Rodriguez, known as Nerd Chronic. No, just kidding. It's Andrew Guy, of course.
I mean, I wouldn't hate that though.
I really love Eric. Eric, if you're watching, we love you so much. You're amazing.
love you,
And everything
Eric.
you do is fantastic.
Eric,
We
you're
love
the
you,
man.
Eric. I can't wait to see you here later this week. I'm fucking ecstatic. Yeah, I mean, fucking A. I mean, come on. He's wonderful in every way, shape, and form. I understand how it's supposed to be, like I was saying earlier with Kalinowski, how it's like himself, but to the nth degree kind of thing. In theory, I mean, everyone says the exact same thing. You've never met a nicer guy. Everyone and their mom
Wait, who
loves.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, we're not there yet.
We're not there
We're
yet.
not
Oh, sorry.
Not there yet.
Sorry.
We'll be there in a couple
Too
minutes.
soon.
We're not
Too
there
soon.
yet.
But Tom Dagnino is my number 2, and he's a pretty cool fella. Never mind. Never mind.
But anyway,
Just rewind all that stuff. You guys didn't see any of that. We're good. We're good.
I dare say my number 2 is probably going to get a challenge, but I've got Kaiser.
Challenge, son. Challenge.
All right.
Now we're on to number
Yeah.
1.
Let's go to
Gee,
number
Dad,
one.
who's your number 1?
Kaiser. Listen, this has been the manager and persona that I have been waiting for the Schmoedown to get. I've been waiting for my East Coast boy to come into the Schmoedown forever because you got to understand, when you have an East Coast personality, that is Kaiser. Kaiser is a New York boy. I'm New Jersey, but I have relatives.
Tomato, tomato.
Listen, sometimes we're both, it's the Garden State in New York State. They're borders. But Kaiser's been this sort of personality that I don't think anybody expected. When he came into the league, people didn't like him at first, but I was like, I am on board right away. You're right from my coast. Let's do this. And that's why I love Smets. When I didn't put Smets on my board, it's because Kaiser was such integral for Smets' personality. If you didn't have Kaiser, you wouldn't have that Smets personality. Kaiser is this guy who literally is probably one of the nicest guys, one of the smartest guys too. If you've ever actually had a conversation with him, he's super intelligent.
Oh, he's super chill.
Super chill too. But I love what Kate says. It doesn't look like it or sound like that he'd be the smartest guy in the room, but he really is. And what's so great about that is the personality that he gives. His live performances, even though I haven't been to a live event, shame, I'm broke. Sorry. I'm an adult who doesn't have, but when I watch them via Patreon and I see Kaiser doing this stuff on stage, getting the crowd hyped, it's incredible to watch. Yeah, it's great for when competitors do it, but there was a reason why he was going to be known as Manager of the Year. And it wasn't just because he was managing Smets and Oyama, who were at one point chasing the belts, got the belts. He was going to be Manager of the Year because he was that manager that pushed his competitors to that next level with his personality. If you don't say that you didn't laugh at all the little Facebook videos, every single one of them, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. When they're looking for Mike at Universal, and then they find Janine the Machine, they find Brianne Chandler, they find Brandon Hanna, and then at the end you see Mike stand up, which was great. But it's those little things that won me my Spobates match. Nice plug there. But no, that's why.
Nice plug there.
Hashtag give me the reality show of the dungeon. I want it. It would work. Trust me, Christian. If you're listening, free ideas, man. Free ideas.
But yeah, I'd Kaiser at 2. This is one that I've thought really hard, but it's one that I wanted to put number 1, but because of who my number 1 is, like I can't put him above my number 1. But yeah, Kaiser is just shown sort of how far he can go as a manager, and like he's kind of almost usurped Tom Magnino for entertaining manager. He's definitely, it's still definitely around that, but when it comes to entertaining managers, I think both Tom and Kaiser are both sort of the top tier. But yeah, Kaiser's great, and if only he'd checked that donut cart, maybe he would have found Mike. But I
think everybody else.
I think everyone else said Kaiser. So anyone else with anything to say?
Kaiser was my number 7. I think that's also a character and a personality that's been consistent inside of the Schmoedown, because he is always Kaiser, and that is just who he is. You can watch him on different interview shows. I'm a plug Chill to Action. You can see him on there also. He is who he is that entire time, and it's like he really is a genuinely smart, funny dude, and his personality has been so much fun to watch. I think that might have been why I had him on there over Smets, but that Kaiser is just an amazing personality inside of the Schmoedown, and I'm so glad that we have him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love Kaiser. He is definitely one of the most entertaining managers for sure. That's why I had him at number 4. It's also like he is so appealing to so many different people, no matter what side you're really cheering for. You got to admit, Kaiser is awesome. My mom doesn't watch Schmoedown, but she watches Marriage Boot Camp. and he's a story producer on that. So they would have him at the end of the show talking, and I was like, yeah, that's Kaiser from Schmoedown. She's like, I can listen to him talk all day. I love him. And I'm like, well, watch Schmoedown, and you can hear him talk all the time. Jeez, he is just so great and so fun to talk to, and he's so entertaining on interviews and matches and posts everything. And yeah, he's the best. I love Kaiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had him at number 6, and yeah, I mean, all the good things you guys just said. If you want a character who is transcending heelism and just being very street savvy, the kind of guy who you're like, if I wanted to find something illegal, I could talk to a guy, and it's Kaiser. That's a certain personality, and that's I mean, it's so hard not to put him on this list. Easy.
But yeah, but Danielle, who's your number one? Even if I have to ask.
I don't think it's very hard to guess what my number one personality inside of the Schmoedown is. I have been a card-carrying Action Army member since day one. I have been an Action Movie Anatomy fan for a very long time. I have been a big fan of Andrew Guy for an extremely long time. And his character inside of the personality is the best fucking heel that we have in this game right now, because he's been completely consistent on that bullshit. He has always been on his bullshit. That has always been Andrew Guy, and it's everyone hates him so much. And he's the nicest fucking guy in the world. He's such a sweet dude. He's so nice. But to know him personally and outside of the Schmoedown, and to see his character inside of the Schmoedown makes me love it even more, because it's so many people have converted over to the Church of Guy after they understand who he is, and just know that his character is completely who he portrays in the Schmoedown and who he wants to portray inside of the Schmoedown. It's not an accident. It's not anything that is part of his personality. He's acting inside of this entire thing, and it's so wonderful to watch because he's so fucking funny when he does it. And this whole year has been such a weird, fun ride for Andrew. So to see him go everything, and then especially with everything that happened at Spectacular, was amazing to see. So I'm really looking forward to trying to see him bust his chops with going into this tweener route. I don't necessarily believe that he's going to be able to go full face. There's no way that we can get a dastardly full face at all. So I think it's going to be fun to watch this tweener, and I just want to hear all of my other people who I know have him at number one talk about him as well.
Yeah, I don't think Drew's going to go full face, but I think he's going to go tweener first and maybe transition to face. Because, I mean, with him being as heelish as he was, there's no way he could make a smooth transition to go completely face. So much of a quick turnaround like that. Yeah, I mean, Guy is just one of those ones in which, like, if you asked me a few years ago about him being on a personality list, I would be like, nah, he's just too damn annoying, just grinds everyone up the gear. But then I came to realise that was his personality, because it wasn't until I started watching some Action Movie Anatomies or the Action Guys, like, this is not Drew. The other one's just a clone and just a fake guy that they just put for the Schmoedown. The other one's the real one. But he's just so great. But yeah, there's so much to cover. And both Kelsey and Alex and everyone else will probably cover that as well.
Yeah. Drew, oh my gosh, like he as a heel has just been, he set a new bar. Like that's why he is the GOAT. GHOAT, greatest heel of all time. Because I feel like nobody has touched what he has done for the Schmoedown when it comes to being a heel. And I feel like nobody could cut a promo the way he does. His speech from Spectacular was in one take, and it felt like it was a monologue in a movie. Like it was just so powerful and power, and like just got us all riled up. And it was like he did that in one freaking take. Like how he's a magician. Like how does he do this? He's amazing. And I am interested to see what happens next season. I want to see how he pulls off the face tweener, but I know he'll do it because he is the GOAT. And so he's got this.
Yeah, girl.
Chiming on that. Yeah, just for, I mean, all the stuff that my wonderful co-hosts have also said on this stuff, he is the GOAT. Whenever you look at the heel scale, Roka set the foundation, and freaking Andrew Guy built the house. Bought it, lived in it, and he's going to retire there until he goes into tweener land. he has done everything as far as pushing the envelope. He has done the impossible by doing character work, by beating Dan Murrell, by going 500% heel. Yeah, there's absolute lesson. 1 and 2s were hard because they're both Drews for me. So
Mine were too.
yeah, want to reinvent the wheel, but we'll get there a little bit more. Alex, say some more good stuff about Andrew Guy.
Fucking A, he's amazing. I mean, he's wonderful. He's so great. He's wonderful with fans. He's really great. Everyone talks about how wonderful it is. I mean, how awesome Snickers is. I mean, this is an extension of him. I mean, come on. So cute. But yeah, again, like I was saying earlier, it's everyone and their mom, and I mean Danny's mom, and I mean
my mom,
Rachel Silvestrini's mom.
Yeah.
You know, that I'm sure my mom, everyone's mom as well, but they will all love him. He's wonderful. He's great. He's had really awesome upsets, and people really associate him with being just this character. But newsflash, he's actually a really legit competitor. He's wonderful. They beat Who's a Boss. They beat all these really great teams, and people are forgetting how much of a really great competitor he is, and not only just a really great heel. You know, he was like the first one where they were like, where Christian was like, hey, you got to be an asshole, but you got to be those assholes. And they were like, got it, done. But it was where they were the ones where everyone around him, Roka included, were suddenly like, oh shit, we really got to get up to this level, you know, and, you know, part of team action and everything. So he's just fantastic in every way. I have no faults with him. And I don't consider him this potential face moment, him where he's like, McQueenie, I feel like I need to retire because I feel like I'm doing you a disservice. That's not a heel thing to say, sure, in theory, but what he's saying is true from the heart. It's totally a heel thing to say. He's just saying something to his teammates. Again, it's just, I don't feel like it's not just, it's a heel plus himself, mega super duper passionate. It's him plus Kalinowski situation where it's him to the nth degree.
Yeah. So my favorite interaction. My favorite interaction is actually on an Action Industry chat with him, and where I told him that my favorite guy is a Wildberry guy, and he was like, "I agree." So we're gonna get Wild confirmed. No. He's been the character. He's been a character that you kind of love to hate, regardless of, or you love to love him as majority of this panel does. But I've kind of slowly understood who he was, like, after I actually started watching his program, and I kind of knew that it was an act, but I didn't know how serious the act was, how much of his actual personality dipped into it, and it's almost 0%. There's a little bit of guy in there, you know, you get a little bit of that, but you don't actually get the full Andrew. Which is cool. I think it's to show you how much character work is put into this personality. And that's why you reward somebody by saying they are the best at it. Granted, I had Kaiser higher than him. Personally, that's why I had him higher. But I absolutely am 100% okay with Andrew Guy being first on this list, which he will be.
But that was sort of covered just for everyone's number one except Dylan. So Dylan, what is your number one?
Woo! Came in with the hearts of cakes and coming from the podcast I come from. But it's no less than Video Drew and all versions of Drew. Oh boy, let me tell you about the word Video Drew, guys. Here's the thing, where Rope has a foundation for being a heel, and I was on it and brought it and did all the great stuff. Video Drew came in and did this weird, crazy, figuratively and honestly, possibly literally, just total mix, and just came in and just being this eccentric, beyond the realm of Schmoedown, possibly even beyond the realms of our worlds. And did this character that was just so completely abstract and different and jarring. There was no face. You can't put her in face. You can't put her in heel. You can't put her in tweener. She is undefinable. she and Tom both, the Looney Bin came in with this just charismatic, oozing, gothic horror and made it such a real thing. I think if this was a character, then when Bibiani first joined in, he would be something like this. He would have strived to be what Video Drew did. Whenever you reinvented the kayfabe game to a point where if you tried to be a heel with her, she would laugh at you and say that she's not even in the same dimension as you. If you try to be a face with her and be your friend, she's going to hug you and you're going to feel so uncomfortable that you decided to say, okay, we should hug.
Balls are gonna pop out of her body.
Or she's just going to try and give you components to make you a better machine.
Right. Like,
So considerate.
her interactions with all the other characters has just been so fantastic. Like, if there's one character I want to just put in a room with every eccentric character in Schmoedown and see how they react to her, it's Video Drew, man. That personality is just so absolutely encapsulating. It is great. I cannot give enough praise in the world for it, both in the game and a match. I can't imagine trying to use kayfabe or any of that stuff against her. She has done a kung fu thing where she's impervious to it. Outside of the game, Jen Sturger doesn't even know what to work with, but Jen Sturger does a great job still finding a way, just being like, here you go. And yeah, everything she says lands amazingly. She created Tom possibly behind the scenes and many more other Frankensteins waiting. Yeah, I could say a whole bunch of other stuff as well, but the praise never ends. Video Drew is absolutely my favorite personality.
Amazing.
We need a match between Video Drew and Makuga. See how Makuga reacts.
I need to
You would
see
just
that.
scream and run away.
But Kelsey, Danny, you guys all said Video Drew at 2.
Yeah, I had Video Drew at 2 as well. So Dylan likes to think with logic, and that's fine. We get it. That's totally fine. But Video Drew's personality throughout this whole Schmoedown is absolutely game-changing because she's been one of the most consistent with her character throughout, because you will never not see anyone other than Video Drew, whether it's on Twitter, on Facebook, in the matches, outside of matches, in interviews. Shout out to Dylan and James doing an interview with Video Drew way back in the day. And
And survived to tell the tale.
Yeah, we did.
insane. So her consistency in her character is amazing, and it's admirable, and it's one of the best things that the Schmoedown has, and it's so entertaining. And not only that, she's super knowledgeable in her matches. Like, I understand Tom has really taken this league by storm, and like, you can't knock what Tom has been doing, but Video Drew understands the game just as well. Her horror thriller challenge that she threw out was a different way to think about your challenges, and it's a different, and it allows for competitors next season to really focus on their challenges in a different way and to utilize that, because that's what your challenges are there for. So not only has her character been consistent, but her gameplay has also been consistent, and she's been on a roll. Like, she's nominated for so many things for these awards coming up, and Upset of the Year is one of them, and that because that game really was. I think that was one of the biggest upsets of the year, really, truly. So that whole thing, Video Drew, and that's why she's at my number 2, because she is all the time her, and it's amazing.
Anyone else with anything to say on Video Drew?
Yes, I'll admit, I played with putting her at number 1. I had to put Guy at number 1, but she was so close because the league needed what she brought to it this season. It's been very much, as you said, Dylan, like heel face. She's her own thing. She's undefinable. She is just a league on her own. And I think she set a new bar for thinking outside the box with a character. You don't have to just be the bad guy, don't be the good guy. You could invent something new and be engaging and entertaining to watch. And I like their match against Time Machine was one of my favorite matches of the year, because her interactions with Janine, just like it was just some of the greatest moments in the entire season, and I love her, and I can't wait to see what she does next season.
Yeah.
For
sure. But yeah, I love what Video Drew's been doing, and even just seeing her interactions on Facebook and just taking the whole Video Drew, just running for even outside of the Schmoedown, just so entertaining. I think everyone's already pretty much covered everything more to say about Video Drew to really. But yeah. So with that, we're going to go to our combined list. What I did is if someone had it, someone at number 1, then they got 10 points, and then it went down from there. So the combined list, based on all those stats and numbers, at number 10, Bibbs is we've got there. At number 9, Robert Mobonette. At number 8, we got Clark Wolf. At number 7, we got Ben Bateman. At 6, we got John Roker. At 5, we got Kalinowski. At 4, we've got Video Drew. At 3, we've got Tom Dagnino. At number 2, we've got Kaiser. And the winner by an extremely long margin is Andrew Gillard.
Yeah!
What a surprise!
We skewed the results, guys. We did it again.
What happens when you have C2A on here? Woo! You make things happen.
But yeah, it was a fun episode. But it's definitely one that shows there's just so many great personalities out there that even if they didn't make it on someone's list, it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means there's a lot of great ones this year. This next year is going to be another year which is going to be really hard to pick good ones because you're going to have so many more new people coming in and messing with figure up. But Doug, where can people find you online?
Yeah, find me on here. Find me hosting a show called The League. It's a fantasy movie trivia Schmoedown fantasy kind of update stuff, and make sure you have the correct players in your fantasy league. As well as The Manor. It's a roundtable discussion, guys. We pick a movie, we pick a genre, actor, director, and then we come together, choose movies in their categories, give them grades, and then an overall grade. It's a lot of fun. We should be having the episodes coming to you soon, as well as the Adventures of Transvaal, which will be back soon. It's a D&D adventure video play along. We've been a little lacking because of the holidays. Forgive us. We will be back in full effect soon to our loving fan.
Danny, where can people find you online?
What's up, y'all? You know me. You know where to find me. You can find me on Twitter at DannyJoy, DANIEEJOY. You can also find me every Monday from now on in the year 2020 on Chill to Action. It's a show that my co-host and I, Paul Denuzio, do. We like to interview different Schmoedown competitors. This next Monday that we have coming up, we actually have all of the nominees for the Schmoedown Awards for 2019. So we are going to have Kristen Smith from Take 3 from this channel right over here. Abby Friel, Albert's going to be on there, and we're also going to have Chris Doman from D2A on there. So be looking forward to that Chill to Action on the Call to Action Network, where you can find me hanging out with these other 3 people right down here.
Kelsey, where can people find you online?
You can find me at KelseyKins90 on Twitter or Instagram. You can also find me on the Call to Action podcast. In about 45 minutes, we will have our debut episode of Call to Action Live. It's practically the same show, except for it's properly titled now because we're not really a podcast. We're more of a live show. So we're excited to have that for you. And you can also see me on Transvaal, drinking wine straight out of the bottle and seeing the consequences that gives my character. So enjoy.
Dylan, where can people find you online?
Oh boy. Well, if you would have guessed by now, you can also catch me on the Call to Action podcast. I do our newly rebranded AAA Live. That's all access Asian, all action American. It's whatever it is that week. We talk all the great Schmoedown stuff in there. You can also catch me doing hot takes whenever I feel like I have an opinion on something. And you can also catch me in a whole new channel, personal stuff, doing movie reviews at FN Podcast. Feel free to YouTube that. You can see me putting up me and Bud. We've got 10 movie reviews up right now, and they're going to keep on coming. Wild stuff.
And Alex, where can people find you online?
I am known as Mac Daddy P, part of the Call to Action team. That one. Sorry, that one. Wait, yeah. Thank you. I'm not horrible at that. But I personally am a host of a really cool show called Schmoedown. I host it every Wednesday. And we debate a lot of really fun topics, such as what Schmoedown competitor / personality would you want to go on a road trip with, and why? Which one's the best one, and why? It's a really fun time. I also run the C2A Twitter page, which is a real fun time. Because if you're interacting with us on Twitter, I like to think I say funny things every once in a while. I'm not sure if it's always coming through, but you never know. Fingers crossed. But please do check us out and follow us on there. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, and you can find me on Tape 3 Productions hosting Rankum on the new day of Saturdays. But you can also find me all over the place, trivia leagues, dealing with echoes. But yeah, until next time, enjoy the Schmoedown.